Hello friends, welcome to lesson 44, Education, Urban Planning and Development, Part C. After completion of this lesson, you will be able to analyze the role of studying abroad in urban planning and development. The analysis of education, urban planning and development brings us to a distinct dimension of studying abroad, especially in the post-globalization period. Several parameters become critical in establishing the interaction between globalization, urbanization, including urban planning and development and education. Globalization and urbanization are related processes. Globalization has also accelerated the aspirations of studying abroad. The beauty of studying abroad is gaining a broader understanding of other cultures, economies and technologies. Having access to other people and building relationships with those people on their home turf enables one to think more creatively and also flexibly. This also enables acquiring the necessary skills in today's competitive work environment as well. Such exchange of socio-economic, technological and psychocultural essentials adds a very innovative perspective in the entire urban planning and development process. Friends, studying abroad gives the opportunity to broaden our experience and knowledge of other countries and their planning systems. In fact, globalization has indeed intensified the interconnectedness between the nations, cultures, technology, and thus has changed the way the world works in today's time. It is increasingly critical to have a cross-cultural competence and cutting-edge technical skills in this regard. A study by the British Council entitled Culture at Work shows that employers are under strong pressure to find employees who have both technical knowledge as well as soft skills such as critical thinking, problem solving, time management and communication, which is deemed necessary for success in a global workforce. Study abroad, in fact, is one of the best ways to acquire global skills and also access personal and professional opportunities. It is a life-changing experience, expanding the entire outlook and also widening the vision to different ways of life and promoting understanding and tolerance. From elementary through postgraduate education and also research, global engagement and exposure can profoundly change a learner's life to a great extent. Employers also recognize the value of study abroad to develop a workforce skills. According to the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs Report 2020, the employers rated critical thinking and analysis, problem solving and self-management as the most critical skills for the global workforce moving into 2025. All these skills indeed contribute both in latent and manifest terms in urbanization, urban planning, development and also urbanism as way of life. Employers increasingly see international internships as a key recruitment pipeline and way to identify globally aware and competent employees. The ability to work across cultures is no longer a nice to have skill set for the elite managers. Every passing moment, it is becoming more essential. Education has become the key for global competencies and urbanization. It has become a field of action for urban planners, architects and also the urban designers apart from urban sociologists. The educational inequalities and the spatial disparities are strongly intertwined. Thus, the strategies for the development of the deprived neighborhoods are focused on a growing variety of education related issues and measures. The experts of urban and regional planning increasingly tie questions of sustainable urban development in the transition from a service to an information society to the topic of education as a key economic and location factor in cities and regions. Studying abroad provides a unique opportunity to learn and acquire skills about urban development from an international perspective. While there is no direct correlation between studying abroad and urban development, studying abroad indeed nurtures, facilitates and develops various personal, interpersonal and cognitive skills that can be beneficial in the field of urban development. Those who study abroad can develop skills such as adaptability, self-awareness, teamwork, leadership, work ethics, problem solving and intercultural skills. It also provides the opportunity to experience a new culture and gain insights into different customs and ways of life. This type of experience adds the flavor of cosmopolitanism in urban spaces, which in turn enhances the diversity quotient in urban areas. Friends, to have further insights about the entire perspective of study abroad, let us find out more from Mr. Raidas Roy Manthena, who is the founder of Study Abroad Foundation, USA. Hello Roy, thank you so much for joining us today to talk about study abroad, and it's a great pleasure having you here.
Good afternoon, Dr. Vinita, and thank you for inviting me, and also thank you to EMRC at Usmania University, and I'm also from Usmania University, 1991 computer science engineering, and I currently live in Boston, America. Thank you so much.
So now that you are heading the Study Abroad Foundation, why do you think study abroad is so important? What rationale do you give about studying abroad?
It's a very interesting question, Vinita. The study abroad is a part of higher education. So we have higher education into IITs, IIMs, like that. The study abroad is to expose students to higher studies outside India. And basically, going back to 1991, when this globalization, liberalization kicked in, and the world has become a small village, and it's a borderless economy. And this global workforce expectations from multinationals, they expect problem-solving skills, they expect critical thinking, they expect multicultural experiences, and also this globalization inspired our aspirational students to go to higher studies to United States, UK, Canada, Australia. In olden days, when you go abroad for studies, it used to be like somebody, rich and second, third generation kids. Now, it has become a necessity. This higher education study abroad has become a necessity, even within India and outside, and the companies, corporations are demanding certain level of skill sets, and study abroad helps with that.
So Roy, you elaborated why study abroad is important. So now that if we try to understand this from the university's point of view, universities abroad, how do they get benefited in terms of encouraging Indian students in their master's program or research program? Do they have any benefit for them?
Absolutely, it's a mutual benefits. So when a student apply for a foreign university, he has some expectations. I want to get into Harvard, I want to get into MIT, I want to get into Columbia or UMass, and I want this subject, I want this scholarship, I want this. Universities also exactly have same expectations. If I take this particular student, he will bring in this cultural diversity. She will bring in this particular, art skill set, and these students will be part of if you take any subject like artificial intelligence, or maybe some student applying for music, and as much as a student is trying to impress the university also try to impress the student. It is for the mutual. Because of these students only, these universities get named. The students go there, they go on to international jobs, competitions, and they present university. I am from Usmania University. I am from Harvard. And there, the university gets benefited. And based on the rankings, how well they're doing, they get funds and alumni donations. Universities do benefit out of international students.
Right. In fact, there has been an entire generation who were always so obsessed with going to US. In fact, going to US has been dream destination for hundreds, right from your generation to the present generation. How do you think study abroad actually facilitates this process?
That's a really good question. So, before I answer the current trending, I would like to take you back to 30 years.
Yes.
1995, about 26 years. For those days, for engineering students and civil mechanical, somehow they will manage to get jobs here, but for the computer science, electronics, and some electrical engineering, there is no choice. They have to go abroad for studies, because computer science is new subject, neither in governments nor in private, there are no jobs. So back 25-30 years ago, there was no choice. Right now, this global workforce. So why US is a dream destination for all these students is it's a vast country. And it's a funny thing, if you take the UK, United Kingdom, it is 1/4 of single states Texas. Okay. And you can imagine how great opportunities in America in terms of a large number of universities and the job opportunities. All the top 100 global companies, I think mostly 90% of them are in US. So US, for the number of colleges, scholarship availability, and the jobs availability, and the interest, and of course everybody loves America for the.
So US still continues to be a dream destination.
It used to be US and it is continue to be US because of all the reasons I mentioned.
So from a layman's point of view, from a common person point of view, how easy or how difficult it is to go abroad or to study abroad with regard to its eligibility criteria or with regard to finances, if you can throw some light on that.
So here what happened, I'm retrospectively looking at, because I've been there 25 years ago, went through the same process, ILT, write ILCS, GRE, and back then and now, significant difference. The technology, proliferation of this social media, internet, made study abroad so simple. It used to be a 2 years intensive process. We went to Bangalore to write a TOEFL, okay? And some people, like before us, people went to Singapore to write a GRE. Okay. And right now you can write these tests sitting in your house in front of the laptop. See, the proliferation of internet technology made study abroad very easy. What Study Abroad Foundation is doing? We are taking the study abroad to every doorstep, every village and town. The democratization of higher education.
So, Study Abroad Foundation, which you have founded, so you are making sure that even the most marginalized students, learners, they have an equal opportunity.
Yes, absolutely. Let me tell you, I always believed in education. Always believed in education. And after going to America, and I completed 95, I had to work 2 years due to financial reasons. My father said, no, you have to work here. So I went to America. After going there, I realized how important that I should share what I learned in America. Okay. Coming from a parents uneducated, a rural background, a first generation educator, I know how important it. And I used to help people. Then about 2 years ago, I thought, let me make this a process, a system. For example, tomorrow, for any reason I stop, somebody else should carry this process forward. And what I did, the first step, in the 8 members batch, 3 orphans.
Okay.
You know why I focused on orphans? If an orphan can go to America or UK or Australia, anybody can go. If somebody complains, oh, we are very poor people. Orphan? Orphan is poor, there is nobody to help. Yeah.
So Roy, are you trying to say that anyone can go to US or
Yes.
anyone can be part of study abroad?
Yes. If you take the socio-economic and in also the subject matters.
Okay.
So if you say socio, whether it's your rural, urban, city or town, anybody can go. And back in those days when we went, only the cities, those who were born in cities.
Okay.
And second, the economic. Let me tell you, you can go to America for free.
Okay.
You go to Google and search. There are ways how you can go.
Okay.
Yeah, you research, write good papers, SOPs. And the last one, and there is always say that, oh, engineers, anybody, sociology, psychology, history, geography, any subject, be calm, anybody can go to America. And
So
also,
what is exclusive courses are you recommending or suggesting?
see, if you take the subject, specific subject, civil engineering, mechanical, electronics, sociology, psychology, and these are all the subject of their interest. And they can go and research. But in these days, the subjects which are trending or anybody can apply are the data science, big data, artificial intelligence, and cyber security. Of course, there are basic requirements, but if you go for data science, anybody can go to data science. But again, I repeat, whether you are technology, engineering, or humanities, or social sciences, life sciences, anybody can go to. And study abroad will help you to research the subject and universities, the whole application process.
Then what you would like to say for people who want to go ahead and do their research, PhD or PDF work, what scope is available for them?
I divide in the process where we work, study abroad.
Yeah.
We group undergrad and the postgrad, and we call masters.
Masters.
So undergrad, which is BS, and masters, which is MS. These ones, the process is almost same for these ones. For PhDs, the postdocs, the process is a little different.
Okay.
And the whole application process is same, but how you research universities, and for example, PhD, you need to have papers. You need to make sure that there is a proper funding. You work with universities.
Yeah.
And the PhD postdoc is more intensive and more elaborative application process. And these days I am recommending, if somebody is very desperate, a PhD guy, go for another master's.
Okay.
So when you go for another master's and you work with your guide, and maybe you can convert into either a PhD or a postdoc.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Roy, you have been part of MNC for quite a very long time. So what do you think that study abroad prepares the learners to work better in MNCs?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm telling on record, if it is not for study, living in America, I would have been different.
Okay.
In Usmania University, back in those days, people used to call me quiet, very quiet guy. Now I can give lecture for 2 hours non-stop with no notes. And that's all I acquired through this higher education living in abroad. And it will give exposure to different cultures, and it will help you to gain problem solving skills and also thinking out of the box. And to give an example, Microsoft or Google, what they do is they take guys from India, Pakistan, Russia and China, they put them in a room, make them to write an excellent code. How they do it? Because of all this exposure and learning.
Roy, can you also highlight what are the significant steps in the entire process of study abroad?
Like I said before, these technologies and these, the social media democratize this process. So we are taking this to the next level. So in a very high level, there are 10 steps. So easy, you can remember. You will become a counselor after listening to this. So number one, first thing, make sure you keep all the documentation together. 10th class, 12th class, your degree certificates, keep them all together in a folder. Next step you do is apply for a passport. And then after that, write IELTS, GRE. And once you have scores, apply for colleges. And once you apply for the college, you get admission letter. You take that letter, go for an embassy for visa. And then you work with your parents, your relatives, make sure your funding, enough finances are, aligned. In last, you take the flight and go to America. In this entire process, you have information on internet. You can also reach out to study abroad. This is where the consultant cheats students. They make this process look like very complex and speak all this jargon and rob money from these poor students. It's a very easy process.
Okay. So now let us say if I were to apply, or for any student who is applying for study abroad, what should be the areas of focus, exclusive focus?
This is awesome question. The 4 critical areas that students who are going for higher studies, whether it's UK, US, Australia, Canada, needs to focus is, number 1 is the academics. These students right from early on need to get good grades. And number 2 is test scores. The whatever test, GRE, GMAT, TOEFL, whatever their interest requirement. And number 3 is community service. And number 4 is sports and music extracurricular activities. These are 4 areas where you can make your application look strong. Like I said, if you do a really good work, you can go for America for free.
That's Roy, because we are dealing with a much broader framework of urban planning and development. How do you think study abroad can contribute in urban development and urban planning, not only in our country, but other countries as well?
This education and globalization, urban development and urban planning, they are all related subjects. And you go back into the history, you take Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Mahatma Gandhi, many more leaders before freedom, many more leaders after freedom like Dr. Ambedkar. These are all exposed to higher education abroad. I repeat again, this globalization made borderless economy. And of course there are certain things these UK Americans taking from India and implementing there. So we are all exchanging cultures, we are exchanging technologies, we are exchanging planning, we are exchanging everything.
Right. So that's a very good point, but again there are a lot of allegations. In fact, allegations is not the right word, but lot of brain drain happening. Youngsters going for study abroad, lot of talented youngsters moving abroad for study abroad programs, not only to US, to other countries. Then how do you think we can facilitate brain gain for development of our own country?
See, brain drain is old concept.
Okay.
Brain drain is old concept. The new concept is education and learning and exposure. If it is not for those NRIs, Gandhi, Nehru, Ambedkar, it would have become difficult for us to get the freedom. So brain drain is old concept. Now it is learning and contributing. Honestly, most of my work, I physically live in America, but most of my work, I do it in India. It's huge. You take all these real estate, all the investments from the NRIs. One of my friends saying, Roy, if foreign NRIs stop investing, Hyderabad real estate will collapse. So the people who are abroad, higher education, they are contributing to the economy for the development. They are contributing to the technological innovation. And brain drain is old concept. In fact, there will be a days where our people, Indians who are in America, will come back, work here because there is more development.
Roy, any concluding thoughts on study abroad?
So it is funny way to say, if you are a doctor, if you are a real estate agent, if you are a lawyer, and if you are a politician, and stay here, anybody else explore the world, have a degree, and travel the world. I personally gained so much traveling. I visited 15 to 20 different countries. I see a huge difference. We gain so much when we exposed to different cultures and different nationalities. And I recommend explore, learn, come back, contribute to the development of this nation. Thank you so much.
So the ultimate takeaway is we have to come back to serve our own country, and I'm extremely thankful to Roy for being part of today's program and sharing his thoughts on the entire gamut of study abroad program. So indeed, study abroad is a very, very invaluable experience, and we study abroad, gain experience and contribute in a global world in much more competent and efficient manner. So thank you so much, Roy, for sparing your invaluable time and also giving a thorough insight about the entire process. Thank you so much. Friends, after the input from Mr. Manthena, let us now conclude this particular lesson. The role of city level leadership is important both for urban planning in general and for integrated urban planning that addresses education in particular and specific way. From a governance perspective, as cities have grown in political importance, city level leaders need to lead the way in combating development challenges which are increasing with each passing day. From an education specialist perspective, a real challenge is the reality that education is often absent from these forward-looking urban development discussions, which is very unfortunate. For instance, the role of schools is absent from the debates on important urban priorities such as slum upgrading. India is a signatory to the global commitment for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) by 2030. Achieving these 17 Sustainable Development Goals requires generating locally appropriate solutions. Higher education institutions can play significant roles by teaching about SDGs and undertaking locally prioritized research for communities around them. It would not be an exaggeration to conclude that in this context, study abroad can bring in a beautiful combination of local and global. Local is the driving force in today's time. Thank you.